Well, players are getting paid. Even one running back, technically. But thank you all for back at it today, guys, for Sports Overview of Topics here, episode 160. I'm Arrow Say Joe 2 in Love. And NFL players are making their rounds for salaries still as we head towards the heads into the off-season. Training camp officially started today for all teams as we're underway, closer and closer to preseason and then the regular season. Football is slowly creeping back, so don't have to wait too much longer, but last we'll go over what's going on as far as some players getting paid. UFC 291 should be a hell of a card on Saturday. We'll go over that as well, give our predictions for how that shapes out, and obviously a little bit about baseball as well, so keep that in mind. But thank you guys. Of course, before we get into it, guy asks for the subscribe button to click it wherever it is. Should be the message up above, whichever is. But yeah, subscribe. You guys want access to all the videos on the channel, there's where to do so. Subscribe, and of course there's the bell to find out when I actually post videos, so you can get them right there and then. But yeah, nonetheless, it's the treatment, it's the routine. But yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you. And here we go. So, if I had a domino right now, I'd tip it over. Best I got is this block, but you guys know what I mean. Alas, another cube quarterback domino has fallen as far as pay and new contracts as expected. Justin Herbert, the young upstart quarterback of the Los Angeles Chargers, who has done a very good job in his first 3 years in the league. Obviously, 2 years ago, he was a tie away from a tie or a field goal away from making the playoffs. Last season, obviously they made the playoffs in another sound year, but surrendered a 27-0 lead to the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, which abruptly ended that season. But it's obviously the question, especially surrounding the three quarterbacks taken 2020 in the first 6 picks, with Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, and Justin Herbert. Now, two got the franchise tag, which, works out, or franchise and 1 year extension. I know. Either way, it wasn't a big second contract for Tua. So basically, this year is a prove-it year for him. Obviously, we know Burrow is going to get paid, but in a way, with GMs and players, it's always a game of chicken. And ultimately, the Chargers struck first, and Justin Herbert reaped the rewards. 5 years, $262.5 million. He is now slated to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Now, I think we can all agree he is one of the best. I mean, this is how the case is. We know he's one of the best. We know that. We know, okay, he's just really starting to enter his prime. Or, if not almost as prime. But alas, we have him. And there's a window. Definitely. Because, okay, you have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. You drafted Glenn Johnson for a reason out of TCU to help a third target outside of those two big monsters. You have Joey Bosa, provided healthy, and Khalil Mack. That's the thing. We never really got to see that tandem together on the field. So, Khalil Mack, when it was just mostly him, did a very solid job holding in. Now, it wasn't his best year, but he still had a Pro Bowl year with 8.5 sacks for Khalil Mack. They have Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James still. They signed Eric Kendricks in the offseason, so, I mean, they have pieces. It's just, the thing is going to be the division. We know. It's like, you got the Chiefs, the Super Bowl champions. They're still going to be good. And the question is, but how much better has the AFC got? That's the question. Then you got the Broncos, who Russell Wilson can't go but up from last season. Simple as that. With Sean Payton. And with the news now of Jimmy G, winning, or should say passing his physical, now it seems like they will be competitive. I'm not saying they'll be a playoff team, Although that's where they can be. That's best case scenario. But, we'll see. But that's good for Herbert. He deserves to get paid. I mean, basically, you can say this about a lot of. You're gonna say that about a lot of players who get paid in this league. They deserve to get paid. Did he probably get overpaid a bit? Sure, but he definitely deserved to get paid for Justin Herbert, so cool for him. Saquon, he got paid sorta. So now on Saturday there was a Zoom call among. I addressed it last week with the running backs and their frustrations and their contracts. Yada yada yada. Anyways, so the news the other day was that Saquon agreed on a 1-year deal worth up to, I believe, 11 to 13 million. So, the original contract back in the fall was around 12 million a year. That's what I read. So, obviously trying to campaign for more. Again, we don't know the full details. Probably more guarantee, if not more per year. Either way, Saquon, right off the bat, or to the eye test, took less for a 1-year deal. So, there you go. In a way, this is good for both sides, in a way. So, obviously, you would like to see a bigger extension for Saquon Giants, but last, there's good news for this. Obviously, it keeps him on the roster for the year. And looks like he's going to be paid a little less. So, it's up for Giants. The thing you obviously worry about is his injuries, history. And again, damn it, Siri. Anyways, so Saquon's history is obviously a concern. No. Dang it. Okay, so Saquon's history is obviously concerning. Now, he did have a great year, bounce back year. But just have to wonder, is he going to keep that up and is he going to be healthy? That's just the thing. And, running back has been such a deep position. So, I mean, look, was Saquon the best player in their offense last year? Yes. Was Daniel Jones overpaid? Yes. But you have to figure into account that he didn't really have much help on wide receivers last year in general. So, I mean, now bringing back Sterling Shepard, hopefully healthy. Drafted Jalen Hyatt. You signed Cole Beasley. Darren Waller, you trade for him. I have to admit the receiver core is going to be better than it was last year. So, I mean, it seems Daniel Jones can do what he did last year, but also take it up a notch. You know, if he's shown the capability to run with his legs, and if his receivers are open more, then by all means, you can have more passing numbers. So, I mean, plus you gotta admit, they probably see something in Eric Gray. That's why they drafted him. So, I mean, there's a thought there. But we'll see. Either way, glad that Saquon's going to be on the roster this year, and kudos there for the Giants. It's easy to say that playoff appearance was a fluke, but honestly, the Giants could definitely follow that up and be up. Now, I don't see them winning the division with Philly in there, but they can definitely be another wild card team and probably get another win, if not another upset, the way they did with Minnesota. But, yeah, something to keep in mind. Same with the Giants. They signed their left tackle, Andrew Thomas, to a very good deal for him. A guy that did not look good his rookie year, but last year, the help of drafting Evan Neal on the other side, and, you know, Lamu, Slauson, you know, they have Nick Gates as well. That was the solid line for Daniel Jones, and he's done very well the last 2 seasons. He got a 5-year, $117.5 million deal, $67 million guaranteed. So, very good. I mean, he has looked like, well, I would say right now with Jedrick Wills, Andrew Thomas, and, you know, Tristan Wirfs, the 3 top tackles in the draft, I would say that Wirfs spin number 1, but Thomas number 2, and Wells number 3. If I had to pick, but yeah, Koo is there. Staying in the division, Trayvon Diggs signed a $97 million deal extension with the Cowboys. No surprise. I mean, if Jerry is smart, we know they're going to find some way to keep him and Michael Parsons the way it is. Obviously, he had that 11-pick season from a couple seasons ago, and he's really arrived as one of the top corners. I wouldn't say top. Well, it depends who you ask, but goes for him there. Jimmy Graham. Now, I wonder if this is going to be his last season. But the former Pro Bowl level tight end with Drew Brees and the Saints gonna come back for one-year deal. I mean, obvious. Be honest, he hasn't been the same since he got traded. I mean, we can just point it to that. He just has not been the same. I mean, look, when you're in a system and, no, it's not necessarily a quarterback, but, just the system and the circumstances with Drew Brees and the Saints, so obviously with the Seahawks for a couple seasons. Then he spent a little bit of time with the Packers and the Bears, but really, I mean, he has had some nice seasons, but hasn't been the same. You can just point that out. Now, see about his last year, I mean, he can certainly add to a Saints offense with, hopefully healthy Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, who bursted last season with Derek Carr throwing the ball. So we'll obviously see. Alvin Kamara is clear, so see about that, but we'll see. And one more bit of good news before we get into a little bit of sad news. So, Marcus Peters did sign with the Raiders. Goes for him. I think he's still good, but certainly could add to a secondary which needs bodies. Certainly has not been that's really been their number one question for number of seasons is their secondary. So, I mean, with Tyree, now, if Tyree Wilson turns out to be very, very good at Texas Tech for the Raiders, with Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, it could be pretty easy playing secondary there, so we'll see how he does. But that's from good news to bad news. Well, some good news, but depends. It turns from bad news into relatively good news. Bronny James was reported the other day that the son of LeBron James, apparently while doing a workout or practice with UFC, apparently suffered cardiac arrest and was rushed to the hospital, in ICU. The good news though is they report him as in stable condition, so that's a step up. Of course, now the key is how long he takes to recover. I think that's obviously that's the main thing. First, it's about him recovering before we can think about him return to court for UFC. But, that's a positive. So, obviously, but, scary situation, but good that Ronnie is at least, some good news. I mean, obviously, that situation with Damar Hamlin and the way that turned out, you don't want to wish that for anyone. And sad that happened for Bronny, but at least, some relief that he is showing improvement. And the Nyheim Hines situation for the Bills. Nyheim Hines, played, a couple number of seasons with the Colts. Then last year he was traded for Zach Moss to the Bills. Did a hell of a job in the return game and catching the ball out of the backfield. However, unfortunate situation as apparently he was a water boat accident where someone rammed into his leg and unfortunately, could miss a number of times. Reportedly, I don't want to say anything wrong, so I'll look up the article best I could. So it says he is expected to miss the season with a significant knee injury. Okay. So, and it was suffered away from the facility, so he may not get a salary, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, especially during that final Patriots game, after that Damar Hamlin situation, which, going back, and then right out the gate, Nyheim Hines has a return touchdown which really, and not one but two against Patriots, which really sparked in their favor to beat the Patriots and knock them out of the playoffs. So there's that. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they do have James Cook, his second year, and Damian Harris, who they acquired from the Patriots, who was free agent, and they picked him up. So, I mean, it's going to be an improved run game for the team, but we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a new look backfield, certainly. Because, I mean, for a couple years, it was Devin Singletary and... Or wait. I get him and Montgomery confused, so... Let's see. So... Oh, he's with the Texans, I forgot. Yeah. Yeah, Singletary signed with the Texans, so... But yeah, it's going to be a new look backfield with, James Cook and Damian Harris. Should be better, but we'll see. They could certainly use another guy, certainly. See. Jaylen Brown. Of the Boston Celtics. Interesting. Jaylen Brown apparently signed a 5-year, $300+ million deal. I believe it said 3 or 4. I mean, aye. Now, Celtics, we know, it was a bizarre ending, we could say. I mean, at times during the regular season, they looked like the best team in the league. And then there were times when they looked fuzzy, like out of touch, it seemed. Now, of course, it's a long season, not as long as the MLB season, but it's a long season for the NBA, so, I mean, there's bound to be slouches. I mean, we saw it with the Nuggets, they went into a fuzz. We saw it with, Lakers, time being, Bucks, the Miami Heat, who went to the finals. I mean, you get the point. But, I mean, there's obviously room for a team to coast, but there were times when they looked, like maybe they peaked too soon. I mean, saw in the series versus the Hawks and the 76ers, like, what is this team? And I legitimately thought that perhaps the Sixers were going to, knock out the Celtics. I mean, it was just not looking good. But they found a way. Jason Tatum had another great Game 7. 50 burger, 50+ points. Good from there. And then they go to the Heat series, and it was just poor. They looked overwhelmed a bit for 3 games, and then they found their way back. He looked like they were coasting a bit. They couldn't make shots. And then Game 7, it was like an avalanche as the heat poured on. Yes, Jason Statham did get hurt early in the game, but alas, the rest is history as he held on and won the series and went to the finals. When they went to the finals against the Warriors 2 seasons ago, Brown was the more consistent player, we could say. And Tatum was very hit and miss. Now, obviously, as I just mentioned with this season, they all seemed in a rut at times. But good for them that they extended Brown in the first place. Now, with the pieces they have a bunch of good pieces to be able to get back to the finals. I think they have the right good pieces. Now, I discussed this with, my dad at times during the finals. And between the Heat Celtics series. The Celtics could benefit from an alpha, like a dog, like how Draymond Green is really the juice for the Warriors. They could use a guy like him. I mean, Grant Williams, he was fired up against Jimmy Butler, during the finals, which kind of sparked some needed energy. It seems they needed. Because, I mean, the thing is, I don't want to ramble too much, because I've already rambled enough about this topic, but I will say, so, the difference, and why I think the Rockets will certainly benefit, or the Trailblazers, from Ime Udoka, or whoever he has. Whichever team. But with Udoka, I see him as a riled up, fiery coach. There are times when, now, he may grow out of this. We don't know. He's still a young coach. But there are times when they showed Joe Mazzulla. And he just seemed very monotone, didn't seem very fiery in speeches towards his team. I mean, Michael Malone, the way he coached and the way he spoke to the Nuggets in the finals, that was how a coach should really let his team stay in it and not coast to win a championship. So, I mean, we'll see. But, Celtics could really benefit from a present. But we'll see, with their pieces. They acquired Porzingis. They still have Brogdon. They obviously lost Grant Williams to the Mavericks. Still have good pieces. We'll see. And one more thing about football, and Bears fans will like this. I think so. Cole Kmet, who's been a decent piece for the excuse me. It's been a decent piece for the Bears thus far. Got paid, certainly. A 4-year, $50 million deal. Extension to stay with the Bears. Justin Fields, I think he had a career year rushing the ball. We know he can throw it. Just now, consistently, can he have that breakout year that now leads to wins? Now, the defense obviously has to play better, but it'll be interesting to see now. Could we see more of a role for Kmet now that DJ Moore's there? Claypool, it's kind of a prove-it year for him. They still have Darnell Mooney, who is, quick as a sneeze. We'll see. And Aaron Judge, I'll get to that after. I'll talk about baseball after this. But UFC 291. It's a hell of a card. And it's featured this Saturday. Should be fun. Headlined by a damn good rematch. Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus Justin Gaethje Part 2. I mean, it was a great fight the first go around, and the second time should be almost as good. We'll see if it can be even better, but knowing Justin Gaethje, I have little doubt that this can't be as good. I mean, we'll see. But for the BMF title, I mean, this card is... It sucks that it's going to be... This card makes me hate ESPN Plus, to be honest. That's how good this card is. But we'll go over all and give my thoughts on how the fights will go down. We'll see. So, starting with for the main card, so kick things off. Solid opener. And the welterweight division at 170 pounds, Michael Chiesa takes on Kevin Holland, who we've seen has gone a bit back and forth between middleweight and welterweight, but alas, Holland has certainly turned it up a notch when it comes to his competition the last number of fights. I mean, obviously he was fed to Khamzat Chimaev, 3 fights ago, and he got submitted in the first round. Two fights ago, he did okay, and now he has a commercial with him. Saver won the boy Thompson before referee stoppage at the end of fourth. But his last fight, stopping Santiago Ponzinibbio, he's certainly taken up a notch, and now against the 12th ranked Michael Chiesa. Chiesa, is on a 2-fight losing streak. Losing against Vicente Luque and Sean Brady, but he's a solid fighter. Has good ground game, some good stand up. Number 12th ranked, so obviously it would be a big deal for Holland in a weird division that could use more contenders. We'll see. But I have a strange feeling, but I'm going with Kevin Holland in this fight. I just think it'd be better off, or I don't know. See, but I think of not first round, but second round TKO. I think maybe a trick in this fight. We'll see. Then we got El Cucu. Oh, jeez, this could be a slobber knocker fight of the night. Could steal the show. Yeah, if there's a fight that could possibly be better than the main event, this fight. We got El Cucuy, Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Now, both guys are obviously older. Both guys are, especially Ferguson, have certainly lost a step. I mean, it's sad. Tony Ferguson was on that great winning streak. Obviously, the fight with Khabib never materialized, or McGregor. I mean, and then, it's hovered around. He obviously had that leg injury, which made him vacate the title when he won the interim, and then promoted, and then vacated. I mean, it was unfortunate. Then, Tony, losing that great fight versus Justin Gaethje, and then losing to Charles Oliveira, and then, getting knocked out one of the best knockouts I've ever seen against Michael Chandler. I mean, it's a weird state where Ferguson is right now. And then losing to Nate Diaz as well in Nate's final fight. And that whole hiccup of card. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see, but hard to say. At some point, I mean, the thing is, Ferguson was doing well until he got head kicked or front face kicked by Chandler. So, I mean, there is obviously some good qualities still in Tony Ferguson. I mean, it's hard to say because Bobby Green is a warrior as well. I mean, seeing some of his fights, it's tough, but I just gotta go with Tony Ferguson in this fight. Just feel like he has a way. I think he's more crafty. Maybe he wears down Green, and it's like a submission in either the first or the third, excuse me. But yeah. Either way, I think that's the sleeper of the fight. Then we got another intriguing bout before the co-main event. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson returns and fights Miguel Pereira. Who's on a one, two, three, four, five fight win streak. Hasn't lost in three years. Pereira, his last fight, winning a split decision to Santiago Ponzinibbio. Obviously taking on his biggest test to date. And Wonderboy, Stephen Thompson, who is still among the hierarchy of the 170-pound division. I haven't seen, unfortunately, Pereira fight too much I can recall. But I will say that, it's always interesting with, Wonderboy because, just how he fights. I mean, now, when he got knocked out by Pettis, he said it was the first time he really got knocked out. But I mean, with the way he fights, if you can catch him at the right time, it's certainly there. But I certainly think that I don't know, I just don't think Pereira's there yet. So I'm going to go with a decision or a first round finish for for Stephen Wonderboy, but yeah, I think Wonderboy gets the victory. Hopefully he has one last run in him to make a case for a title shot, because he is so in good shape. So, one of the best, currently in number 7. Co-main events: Jan Blachowicz welcomes to 205 pounds Alex Pereira, the former middleweight champ. His last fight got knocked out by last stylebender Israel Adesanya. And then, it was announced, and no surprise, here's the thing, there are a good amount of discrepancies between weights, that weight classes, that can be strange when a fighter decides to move up. So it is interesting. But alas, we know with Pereira, he has a very good physique. And obviously, now he doesn't have to, starve himself, really. He can seem, more relaxed, a bit more muscle, 205, 185, 20 pounds. And, no surprise, a guy like that is normally over 200. So, now, one of the big questions was, would this team, or would this fight, I should say, have been bulked up for the vacated light heavyweight title? And right now, that's not the case. Maybe they're waiting. If I have to guess, maybe they're waiting on this fight and see the severity of Yuri Prochazka's shoulder injury to detail a timeline for a vacant title fight. Because based on what Prochazka was saying, it seemed like a Jamal Hill Prochazka fight was in the cards. But, we'll see. Blachowicz is a slight favorite, 120 to 110. See, it's interesting because I believe Jan, I think Weidman, let's see. Oh, my bad. But the way to best compare it is, Chris Weidman and Luke Rockhold. Two guys that had great physiques at 185. They tried to move up. Jan Blachowicz, he's been there before. He fought Luke Rockhold in Rockhold's debut at 205, knocked him out. Chris Weidman, he went up and fought Dominic Reyes, but lost. Now, I will say the difference between Rockhold and Weidman versus Pereira is they don't have the power, punching power, that Pereira possesses. So, maybe a little different, but, his power like Mr. Polish power. And obviously, the majority draw was unfortunate in Blachowicz' last fight versus Magomed Analenkov. But I believe that Blachowicz is poised and I think he'll get it done. I think he can get it done versus Pereira. I mean, the thing is, as easy it is to love Pereira, he's still very raw to MMA and pro. I mean, less than 10 fights. Less than 10 pro fights. Whereas, I think Blachowicz has like 30 or over 30. Anyways, you get my point. The experience. And Blachowicz has power in his own right as well. So, I mean, we'll see. But I'm going with Blachowicz. And I think a decision. Then the main event. For the BMF belt, Dustin Poirier vs Justin Gaethje Part 2. Dustin Poirier, it's been a weird scenario for him. He, lost, well, both of them lost to Charles Oliveira. But obviously both are looking towards that rematch that will be happening in October between Makhachev and Oliveira. I mean, Poirier and Gaethje, both former champions, both exciting fighters. Gaethje's a warrior. I mean, his nickname's a highlight for a reason. Dustin, whether you like him or not, he's a skilled fighter as well. Showed that in the McGregor trilogy. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I cannot, in good conscience, go against Justin Gaethje. Yes, I mean, I had a feeling when he took on Tony Ferguson. I had a feeling, and I was right. I'm not right always with this feeling, but, I mean, he was having success with those leg kicks, and I don't know. I don't know if Poirier talked about possibly not returning to 155. You know, I just losing. I just gotta go with Gaethje. I don't know. But it's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a fun fight. We know that. Lastly, before we go, talk a little bit about baseball news. So, hot topic has been Aaron Judge, when he will return. And seems like there's a clue that slated to return on Friday for the team. So kudos for them. They could definitely use them. Not sure what to say. But, yep. And to slide into that, the Yankees are in a series with the Mets. Mets took it home 9-3 last night. We'll see how they follow up. Polar Bear is back in the mix with 28 home runs, although Shohei Ohtani is still at the top with the most home runs, although Matt Olson from the Braves on sale as well. So that's going to be a unique race. We'll see. Gotta say, good for the USFL. Because the Birmingham Stallions, the reigning two-time champions, 3 of their playmakers have been signed now. Deion Kane, who was the MVP of the championship game, signed with the Eagles. Jace Sternberger, the tight end, signed with the Bills. And Darian Davis signed with the Cardinals. Patrick Bartron, congrats on a hell of a career for the Bruins. Have to say, I'm disappointed. Obviously, with that past season, how it ended, I think everyone's, just flabbergasted how it ended. Not really surprised, but yeah. It's unfortunate. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that's a review for you. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drill. Click that like. Thumbs up. Help out. Be good for the channel. How about the video? So, yeah. But, seriously, thank you guys. For tuning in to episode 160, 161 next week. Definitely be sooner in the week. Definitely be sooner. I swear. See you guys. Peace.